What I didn't like was that nobody really cared about all the cultural stuff. Everybody was just about party, party,
Yeah,
party.
exactly.
Which I find was, I felt sorry for them because, like, I'll say this, like, Taiwan I think is a very beautiful place. And that's not because I was born here, just like, well, all the stuff I saw until now, I find it's really fun. And for all those people who didn't attend classes, who didn't listen to all those presentations, they missed out. They really did. Like your parents didn't send you here just to club. They
Well,
also send you here to at least learn a few things.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's sort of like, and I mean, it's sort of like you can drink or go see Batman or
Yeah,
or,
like-
or
A
buy.
lot of people came like
You know.
came to Taiwan. They go like watch movies.
Yeah.
Like, why are you going to watch movies? First of all, the movie theaters, the screen is so small. It's
Really?
as expensive.
I went to the IMAX.
I went to IMAX.
Yeah.
But like the normal movie theaters, it's so small, so crowded, as expensive, and you can just watch it back home.
Yeah.
Why waste your time in movie theaters when
Yeah.
you can just?
You can drink Absolute and Johnny Walker back home, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, not saying like you shouldn't do that at all here, but it's sort of like, just like, like a lot of people I felt like were totally oblivious to the fact that they're actually kind of doing what they are doing back home. It's just like watching TV. Why would you watch TV when you have like this entire country at your disposal, like to
Right.
like for a month to like do things and learn and talk to people and like learn about your culture and learn about whatever. Like yeah, and we've had lots of conversations complaining about how people like don't make the most of their time here. You know.
But coming back to the cliques thing, I found it pretty interesting to see all the different groups forming. Like what type of people would stick with what type of people.
Yeah, and I remember the good old days, like the first week or so when the cliques had not formed yet.
Yeah.
We would all.
Except one.
Yeah,
Except like
yeah,
one or two.
yeah,
groups.
exactly.
Like everybody
would
would talk to everybody. But after a while, like once we got, especially on the down south trip,
Yeah, because we were all stuck with our
isn't that-
buses.
we just stuck
Yeah.
to our buses. And
But
I remember
I missed
like,
my old friends who were outside of the buses, our bus.
I did too. I missed the fact that like yeah that you felt restricted, but I mean I feel like you form your close friends anyway,
Yeah.
like in the like outside Loveboat world. Like there are certain people you just don't hang out with. There are certain people you say hello to in the hall. There are certain people you ask what they did last night. But then there are certain people you go out with, and or etc. and so on. But I mean it's just like I think part of it is that we had to see all those people that we don't hang out with every day too, and it's like kind of a reminder like, oh yeah, hi, I know your name, you know my name, all right. Yeah, it's like I
That's-
already
That's a
asked
good
you where
point,
you're
actually,
from.
yeah.
It's just because you have to see them all the time, and it's like that's where it's like high school for me.
Because in real life, you just wouldn't see
Yeah,
them.
in real life, it's like that person who's like sat in the back of your class like for psychology or whatever once a week, whatever. That's like an invisible person, or like that person who like is in the other cubicle, like whatever. Like you see them once a week. It's not a big deal. But here, it's like
you see them
every
Almost
day
every day, yeah.
for almost all the day because you don't have any free time. So you have like all these programs or whatever.
It feels weird not talking to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually had, I don't know, I don't know, I'm not a cliquey person. Like, my old roommates, when we had assigned rooms, I was really good friends with them, and then it was really sad not really being able to see them or hang out with them after we went down south, just because they were on a different bus, and then I realized they were actually a different clique. I didn't really notice that before, because everybody just hung out with everyone. It didn't strike me as that, the fact that they were a clique didn't really occur to me until later down south.
What I didn't expect was that every single bus, I don't know about E, but like A really surprised me. They turned into their own clique. And that like I just wouldn't expect that from them. Like
That was because of Fiona. I think that was purely one girl thing. It's like she brought everyone together. She has that talent.
Well, I don't think she could have. And I like Fiona. She's a friend
No,
of mine.
because I worked
but-
with her during the talent
Yeah.
show, and that's how good she was.
But I would say this much. And this is just me being about people in general. It's hard. Like I don't think there's certain people in this camp that Fiona couldn't even have brought along the bandwagon. Like the Camp A kids, they're it's like preaching to the choir. The kids who wrote their names and agreed to do the talent show, that's the choir, and like I think and that I wish everyone could be like moved to like cooperate with someone like Fiona, but I wonder like like when we went to the slideshow or like the traditional music appreciation thing, there are just some people who do not want to do anything that isn't immediately satisfying to them. And it's sort of like a very, I don't want to say necessarily American or ABC thing, but it's something I've seen a lot in both groups. Just like a sort of very sort of, it's an immaturity. Just like saying like, I'm the only person that matters. My actions have no consequences on others. I can do whatever I want. Everyone else can just deal. And it's just like that kind of selfishness was really frustrating to see constantly from people who I am sort of associated with and seen as like a member of that group. Like, like I had a friend who was like, oh yeah, and they're like, a friend introduced me to someone else, and like originally said I was an ABC, and it's just like they were like didn't want to meet me, or they were like had reservations, and it's just like is those people, like that's the reason. And I felt like I constantly had to apologize for my group or feel guilty, like it's just like people who don't know how to act, and it's frustrating to see that. Like, I don't know, the last day we were coming back, and it's just like the like cleanup ladies at Genton had to move like furniture back to where it originally was, and they couldn't get it in the elevator. And I was like, oh, well, you just got to take the suction cup thing, and they're just like, the way they looked at me, even though I was helping them, they didn't look at me like I was their friend or just someone who's like, they looked at me like he's just one of them, and he's just like, they're like, title party, and they even knew party because of all those horrible, like all like of like people like us who like are always partying. And that's how they learned it. That's like the one word of English they know. That's pretty sad. Like that they know that word is because they have to clean up. That's the way I kind of feel about the world. Is sort of like there's always gonna people who have to clean up after you.
Yeah, and I feel bad for them.
Yeah, and there's sort of an alarming amount of people who are oblivious to the fact that someone has to clean up after.
Yeah, the number of times I cleaned up my table's dishes is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Nobody on my table cleaned dishes. I had to do all by myself.
Yeah, and I think it is actually something of an American thing. I have a friend, he was from Europe, and he was just, during one day, he's just like, he's like, 美国人很讨厌啊, he's just like, Americans are so annoying. And I was just like, yeah, like, it's like this swarm that just destroys everything in its path, like, with this nature. Yeah, it really is. We consume everything, and it's really sad to be to see that and to be associated with it. Like I toward the end of the camp, I was involved in sort of like there's this one kid I had this beef. I didn't have a beef with him other than he killed an animal, and I was like, dude, you shouldn't do that. And like for the rest of the trip, he was wanting to fight me for saying that, and it was just like, really, like. Seriously, you're that mad over me just saying like don't do that, and like like it's just like alarming how many people think they can just do whatever they want here, and there are no consequences.
I feel like a lot of people have a sense of entitlement here. Maybe it's like they're individually, they're like wealthy and spoiled. A lot of really wealthy, spoiled kids, I would say. How else would they get that kind of attitude, right? I think maybe the parents don't pay that much attention to them, but it doesn't seem like
probably
it,
even the parents themselves are like that. Like, going out to bus, like, so hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we know it's hot. You don't need to tell us. Just get off the bus and stop complaining.
Yeah, a lot of people were huge complainers, and like I don't like complaining, and I hate when I do it, especially in excess.
I actually that was the one thing I did get better at. I can complain really well in Chinese now. They have like at least 40 ways to say like I don't like doing this. So
what's funny is that I always thought Asian people were a little more conservative, because especially in the States, I thought they were more conservative. Then I came here and people were just crazy and debaucherous.
Depends on what you mean by conservative, though.
Not like politically, but just like I don't know.
Reserved.
More reserved, more
locals, yes.
Yeah, I feel like.
Yeah.
My sister warned me, she's like, when you go to Taiwan, you don't want to seem like a dumb American tourist in public, And a lot of people like that, a lot of people here did act that way. especially after the club, we would go to McDonald's or something. You know,
God.
people would just be loud and asking the cashier.
That's Americans
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
That like whether you're Taiwanese or white or whatever, like that's Americans everywhere. I mean, you go to and that's in everywhere. It's not just Taiwan or
Right.
you go to like Spain or Amsterdam. It's just like those are the Americans singing happy birthday down the street and knocking things over,
Yeah.
refusing to speak any of the other. We're learning like foreign phrases and just using those in this horrible accent.
I guess I just thought ABCs would be a little more sensitive, maybe because they have two cultures. And like, when you have
expect
two
so
different,
much
like,
out of us.
I know. I think I'm very idealistic, and like I thought, well, having to have two cultures, it creates this kind of conflict, or at least there's more of an awareness when you're in the States. You're aware of how other people perceive you, or you're just aware that there's more out there. It's a different dimension that you have in your life, and I felt like that adds a degree of sensitivity to a person, right? And so it just.
Do you think that?
And so then I came here and like people act like, big, loud, rude Americans, even though they're, Chinese or Taiwanese Americans. That was interesting. I guess I expected more from them.
Well, coming back to the clicks thing, like, that was the main thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's just like, well, for me, anyways, our group we had it before the whole bus formation. So all of us jumped on one single bus.
That's right.
Yeah, which was bus D. But for a lot of other buses like B, C, and E, they were just like two, three friends together and coming in. So I was surprised at how fast it took them to really unite as one. Except for bus C.
Well, it's partly
Yeah.
they help us do that by like the competitions. Like when you have to work as a team, and
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, you have to have a team chant. You have to do a contest where you are performing as a group. A singing contest. Oh, a talent show. So it's like all these things help foster that. And I don't know. I mean, they were fun in a good way, but then at the same time, like I think there's a sort of there's like a really easy tendency to just like, this is like the only people I want to talk. These are the only people I want to talk to. This is my group, and like fuck everyone else. I don't know if I can say that. Can I say that?
Okay, it's okay.
They'll beep it out.
But like, it's just like it really is like that. Like, it's like that. Those were some of the chants. Like,
Yeah.
F bus E or whatever.